So this is our Blender tutorial, Introduction to Blender, which is a 3D modeling and animation program, among other things. So let's go ahead and open Blender, which hopefully you've successfully downloaded. This is your welcome screen. Go ahead and just click to the side of that little creature there, and this brings you to Blender's default viewport interface. So before we do anything else, let's go up here to File, click on File, open User Preferences. And then we're going to make sure that we've checked our 3-button mouse, emulate 3-button mouse, that's important. We want to make sure that we have emulate number pad checked. And then let's go over here to our keyboard shortcuts, and we're going to click on the twirl down for 3D view, and then click on 3D view global. Then we'll scroll down to center view to cursor, and click on this button, which should say Alt Home. You click on this button and press a key. Press the tilde key, which is in the upper left corner of your keyboard underneath the escape key. And this will allow you to center your cursor with one keystroke. Very important. And a couple of notes on working with Blender. You want to do your best to learn the keyboard shortcuts because this program is very complicated and it needs as many shortcuts as you can get. Okay, so we're going to use the 2 fingers dragging back and forth across the trackpad to rotate around our object. This is also kind of our translation point here. And then you can do the same thing vertically to move around your object, and then diagonally and so forth. And if you skim your fingers across the trackpad, you will move quickly, skim, and then rest them. That will bring it to a stop. So you can move pretty quickly and accurately just from a rotational point of view, moving your fingers along the trackpad. And then we can modify this in a few different ways. Go ahead and hold the control key and do the same motion, and you will now be zooming in and out of your scene. And this is once again around this translation point here. If you hold the shift key, your camera or point of view will track parallel to your object, both laterally and vertically. So those are all very handy things to be able to do. Now we're going to illustrate why we set the tilde key as our return to cursor viewpoint here, because if you hold the shift key and go ahead and scroll down a bit and then rotate, you notice that we can get kind of disoriented and lose track of where our reference point is. So if you press the tilde key at this point, it'll bring you right back to where you were. And furthermore, you can move this point by clicking on any part of your interface here and then pressing the tilde key, and that will allow you to move your translation point, your point of focus for editing. And you can do that as many times as you like. It becomes very important when you're manipulating more than one object. So that is our basic tutorial for movement in Blender. And our next tutorial will focus on moving our object and some basic translations and dimension modifications.